She knew I was a cop the moment our eyes met across the neon-soaked bazaar of New Titan Station, and I had no idea how that was possible because my cover was perfect. 6 months deep undercover in the Fringe District, hunting a smuggling ring that moved illegal biotech across 3 systems. And not one person had made me until this purple-skinned alien girl with silver eyes locked onto mine and whispered 2 words that stopped my heart. Your law. I was reaching for the concealed weapon at my spine when she grabbed my wrist with fingers that radiated heat like a furnace. Her skin the deep violet of Earth's twilight sky. Her hair a cascade of bioluminescent tendrils that shifted from blue to white depending on her emotions. And right now they were strobing panic red as she pulled me into a storage alcove between 2 vendor stalls. Don't arrest my sister, she begged. And her voice had this resonance to it like she was speaking in harmonics that bypassed my ears and went straight into my chest. Please, I know you're about to move on the smugglers. I know she's one of them, but she didn't have a choice. She doesn't deserve what's coming. My name is Detective Marcus Chen, and in 12 years working organized crime, I'd heard every sob story, every desperate plea, every reason why someone's criminal family member deserved a pass. But something about this girl, woman really, though her species aged differently than humans, made me hesitate instead of immediately calling for backup. How do you know I'm a cop? I asked, keeping my voice low, my hand still on my weapon because for all I knew this was a setup, a way to compromise my cover before the big bust went down tonight. She touched her temple with one burning hot finger and tapped twice. Kalari can sense electromagnetic fields, she said quickly. It's how we navigate our homeworld's crystal forests. Your neural implant, the one that connects you to the police network, it broadcasts a signature. I can feel it humming inside your skull. That was classified tech, military grade. And the fact that she could detect it meant either her species was more advanced than our intelligence suggested, or I was in serious trouble. What's your name? I demanded. Lyra, she said, and her hair tendrils were shifting to a pleading orange now. Lyra Vex. My sister is Kira Vex. She works in the lower markets, and I know she's been moving the biotech packages for the syndicate, but Marcus. The use of my real name sent ice down my spine. She's being coerced. They have her daughter, my niece, in a detention facility off station. She smuggles for them or they sell the kid to the flesh markets. This was getting complicated fast. Even if that's true, I said, though my gut was already telling me she wasn't lying. You develop instincts in this job. And everything about Lyra screamed desperate honesty. I can't just let a criminal walk. There are rules, procedures, justice that... Justice? Lyra laughed, but it was bitter, broken. Is it justice to punish someone for trying to save their child? Is it justice to ignore the real monsters because it's easier to arrest the people they've enslaved? Her silver eyes were wet now, tears that evaporated the moment they touched her superheated skin, creating little puffs of steam. You humans talk about your nobility, your laws, your civilization, but when I look at you, I see the same thing I see everywhere in this galaxy. People choosing what's easy over what's right. That hit harder than it should have. Maybe because she was right. Maybe because I'd been feeling the same thing for months watching how this investigation was shaping up. My captain wanted numbers, wanted arrests, wanted headlines, but didn't want the messy work of going after the real power players who made the syndicate possible. Tell me about your sister, I said, making a decision that would probably end my career but feeling certain about it anyway. Lyra's hair shifted to surprised yellow, then cautious green. Kira is... She's everything I'm not. Brave, selfless, stupid in the way that good people are stupid when they love someone more than they love themselves. When her mate died in the station riots 3 years ago, she was left with a 5-year-old and no skills that translated to legal work. The syndicate found her, did what they always do, made promises, got her dependent, then revealed the trap. Now she moves packages twice a week, and every time she does it, she dies a little more inside because she knows it's wrong, but what choice does she have? I was thinking fast, running scenarios. The bust goes down tonight at 2300 hours. Warehouse 17 in the lower docks. We're hitting the whole distribution network at once, and your sister will be there making a delivery. Lyra's face went through 5 emotions in 2 seconds, landing on devastated. Then it's over. She'll be arrested, sent to a penal colony, and my niece will vanish into the system, lost forever. Unless, I said slowly, an idea forming, your sister cooperates, gives us the people above her in the chain, testifies against the real players. I pulled out my personal comm, not the police one, and made a call I probably shouldn't have made. Sarah, yeah, it's Marcus. I need a favor, a big one, and I need you not to ask questions. Sarah Okonkwo was a federal prosecutor, and more importantly, she was someone who actually cared about justice more than conviction rates. I explained the situation in broad strokes while Lyra watched me with growing hope, lighting up her alien features. You can get the kid released? Sarah asked. And the sister will give us actionable intelligence on syndicate leadership. I guarantee it, I said, looking at Lyra, who was nodding frantically. Then bring her in now before the bust. We'll do a proffer session, get her statement on record, and if it checks out, I can have a federal warrant for the child's release within 2 hours. Sarah paused. Marcus, this is going to piss off your captain. Good, I said. He's been running this investigation like it's a PR campaign instead of actual police work. Maybe it's time someone reminded him what we're supposed to be doing. I ended the call and turned to Lyra. Take me to your sister. Now, we have maybe 3 hours before this all goes sideways. The lower markets were a maze of corrugated metal corridors and flickering lights, the air thick with the smell of exotic foods and illegal chemistry. Lyra moved through them like a ghost, her heat-radiating skin making vendors give her space, her bioluminescent hair lighting our way. She kept looking back at me with this expression I couldn't quite read. Gratitude mixed with something else, something that made my heart do stupid things. Why are you helping us? She asked as we descended into the deeper levels where the real criminals operated. You don't know us. You're risking everything for strangers. I thought about that. Because your sister is right. Choosing what's easy over what's right is how good systems become corrupt. And because I hesitated, then figured honesty was fair play. Because you saw through my cover in 5 seconds, called me out on my bullshit, and somehow made me want to be the kind of cop I thought I was when I first joined the force. Lyra stopped walking and turned to face me fully, her hair shifting to a soft pink I hadn't seen before. That's the first genuinely noble thing I've heard from anyone in this station in 3 years, she said quietly. Maybe I was wrong about all humans. Most of us are still pretty terrible, I admitted. But we're trying. We found Kira in a basement apartment that was barely more than a cell, and the resemblance to Lyra was striking. Same purple skin, same silver eyes, but where Lyra's hair glowed with vibrant colors, Kira's was dim, almost gray, like her spirit had been beaten out of her. When she saw me, she immediately grabbed a knife, but Lyra stepped between us. He's here to help, Lyra said. He's going to get Zara back. Kira's eyes went wide. That's not possible. They said if I ever talked to the authorities, they lied. I interrupted. They always lie. That's how they control you. But if you're willing to fight back, if you're willing to trust me for the next few hours, I promise you I will get your daughter back and put you somewhere the syndicate can never touch you again. The conversation that followed was tense, painful, full of Kira's understandable distrust of any authority figure, but eventually Lyra's faith in me tipped the scales. We made it to the federal building with an hour to spare, and Sarah worked her magic, getting Kira's statement, verifying details, building a case against 3 syndicate lieutenants that would have been impossible without insider testimony. At 22:45 hours, 15 minutes before my team hit the warehouse, I got the message Zara Vex, age 8, had been recovered from an illegal detention facility in the asteroid belt and was en route to New Titan Station for reunion with her mother. At 2300 hours, the bust went down without Kira there, and my captain was furious. But with federal involvement and Sarah backing my play, there was nothing he could do except reassign me to desk duty pending review. I didn't care. 3 days later, I was officially suspended, probably looking at termination, when Lyra found me at my apartment with a bottle of Kalari Sunset wine, apparently made from fermented crystal flowers, and a smile that made her whole face glow. Kira and Zara are in witness protection, she said. They're safe, together, because of you. She set the wine down and took my hands, her heat radiating up my arms. You sacrificed your career for people you didn't know. That's not just noble, Marcus Chen. That's the kind of thing that restores faith in the universe. I'm probably fired, I pointed out. Definitely blacklisted from law enforcement. Then it's a good thing. The Federation is always looking for people with your skills and moral compass, she said, pulling out a datapad. I may have mentioned your name to some people I know. People who fight the kind of corruption that local police forces won't touch. People who could use someone who chooses right over easy. I looked at the job offer on the screen. Federation Special Investigator, focused on trafficking and coerced labor. Independent authority across all human systems. The pay was better. The jurisdiction was unlimited, and the mission statement could have been written specifically for someone like me. Did you orchestrate this? I asked. Lyra's hair turned mischievous purple. I may have used my unique talents to network on your behalf. Consider it payment for saving my family. She stepped closer, and the air between us felt electric. Also, the position comes with a Kalari liaison officer, someone who can sense biotech smuggling and detect undercover criminals, and generally make your life easier. I happen to be available. You'd work with me? Marcus, I'd follow you into the crystal forests themselves if you asked, she said, and her silver eyes were absolutely serious. You're the first human I've met who actually lives up to the stories we hear about your species. The ones about courage and sacrifice and doing the impossible because it needs doing. You're what humanity is supposed to be. I kissed her then, and her lips were warm like summer stones, and her hair blazed white with joy. And somewhere in the back of my mind I thought about how a simple plea in a bazaar 3 days ago had completely transformed my life. We pulled apart and she was smiling. So is that a yes to the job? It's a yes to everything, I said, and I meant it. The Federation position, the partnership with Lyra, the chance to actually make a difference instead of just making arrests, all of it. Good, she said, and her practical side reasserted itself, because we start next week and I've already identified 3 major trafficking operations that need immediate attention. Also, you should know that working with a Kalari means dealing with my family traditions, which include a bonding ceremony if we're going to be partners, and it involves crystal singing, and it's very loud, and... Lyra, I interrupted, laughing for the first time in days. I just threw away my career and kissed an alien. I think I can handle some loud singing. Her hair went supernova bright, cycling through every color imaginable. Then Detective Marcus Chen, formerly of New Titan Station PD, currently of nowhere, I think you and I are going to change the galaxy. And standing there in my cramped apartment with this impossible purple girl who'd seen through my cover and my defenses and everything else, I believed her completely because sometimes the best cases don't end with arrests. They end with new beginnings, with choosing right over easy, with desperate pleas in bazaars that turn into partnerships that transform everything. Sometimes you don't arrest the sister. Sometimes you save her, and in saving her, you save yourself.